That's that pipsqueak strength for you. I gotta knock some sense into these MMA fans, man. Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko. This ain't Peaches and Creamville. Peaches and Creamville. Peaches and Creamville. What the heck is this? Why the heck is Jamal Murray on the screen? Why the fuck is Jamal Murray like a part of Volk's team, bro? It's so random. You should be a Jokic fan. Volk is more like Jokic, bro. Jokic is the best NBA player. Volk's the best UFC player. Now Volk is MJ. John is MJ. Volk is LeBron. Volk is the LeBron of MMA. Volk's like Ja Morant. No, not even close, dude. Ilya Topuria is like Ja Morant, bro. Ilya Topuria is Ja Morant. Cocky, hasn't put the work in yet. Taking just thinking he's just gonna run through everyone. He's Ja Morant. GSP is not LeBron, bro. GSP is Tim Duncan, okay? GSP is Tim Duncan. Aldo, who's Aldo, by the way? Aldo's like one of these guys Silva's like one of these guys with like 10 rings, but they were fighting plumbers. Who's Silva, bro? Silva, who's that guy with like 10 rings? Phil something? Yeah, Bill Russell. Silva's like Bill Russell. GSP is Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was getting a bunch of rings, but a little bit boring. Kobe, I'm going to say Habib was Kobe. Habib was Kobe, right? He was, listen, I'm a basketball head, so I know what I'm talking about right now. Kobe, when he was on the court, nobody could stop him. Nobody could stop him. Not MJ, not Bron, not Jokic. Nobody could stop the guy. Nobody. That's why he's number 2 all time. I personally got Kobe. Amari Stoudemire, sleeper pick. Who is Amari Stoudemire? Because I do have Amari in my top 10. Who is like the unlikely top 10? Makhachev, man. I'd say Makhachev is unlikely top 10, but that's Amari. No ball knowledge. Actually, you have no ball knowledge, bro. Habib is Shaq? Yeah, Habib's Shaq, I guess. Most dominant, but not the GOAT. Okay, fair enough. I actually like that. That's pretty decent. Amari Stoudemire, in my opinion, is probably like Usman, most likely, right? Like Amari, when he was on top, probably had the best wins above replacement stat. Like, all like the stats that people don't necessarily look at first, but are the most important. And that's what Usman was, the guy checking off the boxes. Habib fought more cans than Silva. Yes, but we're talking about UFC caliber people, and Habib wasn't fighting that many cans in the UFC. Listen, Tibau would have been the average number 1 contender for Anderson Silva. You do understand that, right? Like Tibau would have been a number 1 contender, championship caliber opponent for Silva. No, Aldo's Steve Nash, dude. Who's that guy that's known for Aldo is John Stockton. Aldo's John Stockton. No, Cruz. Cruz is John Stockton, man. Pillowhands Cruz is John Stockton. If you're known for passing, like, you'll just never be the GOAT. Sorry. I know people like they hype up John Stockton like you. I mean, he was good, but come on, bro. You're passing. Like, that's not as hard as it is to shoot. Damn, Stockton was a cold man. It's like you look at his highlights and he's just freaking passing it in between his legs. Like, what is this, kindergarten shit? Anyone can do that. Yeah, Crafty. Yeah, John Crafty Stockton. Cruz is Stockton. Volk is LeBron. Volk is like the most, the longevity is on his side. Peak Volk is better than anyone else. I actually don't know if Volk is LeBron, bro. Who's like widely considered to be the 3rd best or the 2nd best of all time in the NBA? I guess Bron, dude. Honestly, Volk, you know what? Volk is actually MJ. Volk is Jordan. LeBron is Jones. Jones has the quantity. Jones has the longevity. Jones is the GOAT. Just as LeBron is the GOAT. Like, Jordan's not the GOAT. He has not been on top for long enough. LeBron, like, making the NBA Finals 10 plus years in a row is ridiculous. Averaging those numbers as an old head is ridiculous. Peak LeBron is on another level, just as peak Jordan. Volk is actually MJ. Straight up. Like, and I'm giving Jones a compliment. I think that LeBron is higher than MJ. MJ's overrated. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Folks, just kidding, actually. I actually don't know, bro. let me just say, Volk is Jokic. Volk is in the modern era dominating people, putting up the best numbers that you can't argue with. That's Jokic. Volk isn't MJ? No. Jones is MJ. Quantity, maybe not the best competition overall. Volk is LeBron. Let's stop fucking around. Volk is obviously LeBron. But, you can't always compare them perfectly just because LeBron's had longevity as one of his mainstays, whereas MJ is more of a guy that's rated highly for his peak. But, listen, peak this, peak that, like, bro, peak 6 seasons. Oh, whoa. MJ was the best basketball player ever because he was good for 6 seasons. Like, come on, man. Especially in the can era. If you can take your team to an NBA final in the modern era, if one person can carry a team in the modern era of basketball and MJ couldn't get there more than 6 times, that's not a good look. Sorry, not a good look. Volk is kind of Jokic in a way. I do agree with that. I do agree. But Jokic isn't that high up on the GOAT conversation, unfortunately. Dude, Jordan gets glazed for winning every single final. It's like, bro, what about making more than 6? How about that? I love how people say Braun failed in this final. Braun failed in this final. Like, this dude was failing in the playoffs. This dude was failing in the first stage of the playoffs, Jordan. People glaze him so much. MJ was facing plumbers. He was, bro. I've seen videos of the defenders in the 90s. The 90s physical defense. The hand checkers. And they're hardly even, bro, these guys would let MJ just run through them just because. The gritty 90s basketball was not as gritty as people. The real gritty basketball was in the 50s and the 60s. The real gritty basketball was in the John Stockton era, the 60s and the 50s. That's when guys were crafty and they were getting, dude, that's when guys were mean. They weren't as skilled, but those guys were mean. They were nasty. You would not want to get in that. You would not want to get in front of that freestyle line with John Stockton and that dog in him. Yeah, in the 20s. Seriously though, like Steve Nash, John Stockton, those guys were fucking monsters in the 40s. Like, people don't understand. Thank you for the 2 Canadian dollars. Take this Tono to stop. No, dude, I like talking about basketball. Thank you for the $2. MJ, what NBA player would have been the best UFC fighter? Good question. Thank you for the $2, Bob Dental Care. I mean, first of all, I think you have to get an NBA player that's incredibly competitive, that has the killer instinct, right? People say LeBron has the killer instinct. LeBron's a bit of a softie, though. When it came down to crunch time, when it came down to crunch time, LeBron just didn't have that killer instinct. I hate how they say shit like that, as if like, these guys are fighting on the court. Like, it's, you either win or you lose, bro. You're either clutch or you're not. I get what they mean, though. Of course, some of the NBA players that are like, defenders, for sure. I'm sure Shaq would have been a good fighter. But at the same time, if you take someone like Jordan or you take someone like Kobe, the guys that have like a very strong mind that are also extremely competitive and just have like a high IQ for competition and like learning plays and they just pick things up easily, those guys would obviously be talented too. But not everyone. There are some basketball players that just wouldn't have a pain threshold that's good for fighting, or there's some basketball players that just wouldn't have great genetics for stuffing a takedown necessarily. Like, I understand that people talk about the NBA like it's the most athletic sport, and it's definitely up there. Absolutely. Like, they have better athletes than most people that are going into MMA, partly because more people go into the NBA. That's part of it too. There's just a deeper talent pool. But, wrestling, for example, also has plenty of good athletes that are athletically gifted for different things. Like, an Olympic gold medal wrestler is going to have different genetic gifts than like someone that's like 6'10", So just because you made it to the NBA does not mean you would excel in every other sport. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.